Mini Voyager is the conversation that we're going to be doing today, talking all about this awesome company with the founder, Bree, especially ahead of so much summer travel as we wind down and get ready for school to start. There seems to be so many awesome tips that you guys have offered about what's worked for you with traveling with kids of all different ages, and so many of you, which I'm so grateful for, tagged me and told me about this awesome company, Mini Voyager, and I bought a couple of Mini Voyager travel bags, and I am so excited to try them out. I've looked through them. They're amazing. It's a genius idea, and I know it helps a ton of parents. So I'm excited to chat with her about it. And we had some really good questions just about tips for parents when they travel and how to kind of ease the anxiety of traveling with young children. Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Good. We're beach camping this whole week, so this was a nice excuse to come home really quick and shower and sleep in my own bed. So I'm not complaining. It's fantastic.
Oh my gosh. Amazing. Well, I am so grateful that so many people alerted me about your company and all that you do, because when I first looked at it, I was like, this is genius. Like, how is this possible that this hadn't already been done? And I'm so happy that you were the first person to do it, because you've done it so well. And so I want to talk a little bit about, I know you're a mom, but I want to talk about how you even came up with the idea and what made you actually start it, because there are so many times where I feel like parents find themselves in a situation where they're like, why doesn't that exist? But we don't actually necessarily create something, and you did, which is amazing. So I want to talk about how that kind of came to be.
Well, thank you. It's so nice hearing that you like the kits and, everything. Having a business is such a roller coaster of one week I'm like, this is a great idea. I love this. This is awesome. And the next week I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. This is insane. But the whole reason this started was I have 4 little kids, and with my first, my whole family lives out in San Diego, and we used to take 6-hour flights from JFK to San Diego all the time to visit, and my husband was working a lot, and so I was doing it by myself with my we started flying with her when she was 3 months old, so
Wow.
my little baby. And having never flown with a kid, I was so stressed, and literally would get nauseous and knots in my stomach on the way to the airport, because it was just so stressful thinking about what could happen. And even just figuring out simple things like going through TSA with a baby, I have no idea what I'm doing and how I'm going to carry it all. And so from that, my first flight with her, I probably looked absolutely ridiculous. I had a massive duffel bag of toys, threw everything in the bag that she could possibly maybe need.
To keep her entertained.
What?
To keep her entertained and occupied. Yeah, I get it.
I had no idea what I was doing. And her duffel bag of toys was bigger than my diaper bag, bigger than my carry-on. I was so stressed. And I hated that feeling. I hated the feeling of dreading the flight, and dreading even just a road trip with her was hard. After that flight, she was great. We used all the toys. But an older, he was a grandpa, he saw that I was by myself with her, and he offered to carry that duffel bag down to the checked luggage area. And he was like, what do you have in here?
Yeah.
I was like, they're just toys. They're just kid toys.
Yeah.
But from that extreme of carrying every single thing possible to over, we've taken over 100 flights with with our kids, and just kind of have refined down like what actually truly works to keep them entertained and isn't just like a quick 5-minute fix. And so through that, the idea of Mini Voyager came because I don't want other parents to feel as stressed as I felt going into a flight, or any type of trip. I mean,
Right.
travel with any type of travel is so hard with kids, but there are ways, you know, that it can be easier. And hopefully having the travel kits just gives parents like a little bit more confidence that they can, like, they know that the stuff in there will keep them entertained.
I love that you had that experience because I feel like all of us parents can relate to the anxiety and the stress that comes with preparing to fly with either one child or multiple children, and just kind of like the chaos that comes along with it of like, will they scream? Will they be entertained? Will they be well behaved? Will they go absolutely like, you know, have a full temper tantrum on the plane? And then like, what do I do in that? So there's, you know, all of these different factors that I feel like so many parents can relate to. And then, you know, the whole like duffel bag full of toys is, of course, like, again, something that we can all relate to of like, if we're not necessarily putting our kids on like an iPad or having them watch something the entire flight, if it's a 6-hour flight, like, what are the other things that you're going to do to keep them entertained while also maintaining your own sanity? And this idea that you had of creating these little kits of toys and sensory play and also activities for kids that are age appropriate for them to keep them entertained is such a smart thing because it's small, it's condensed, and the items are like miniature versions of so many of the toys I played with when I was little. And which of course is like really entertaining for parents because you're like, oh, I remember that. But how did you actually get the idea online and available for people to start shopping? Because it's one thing to come up with an idea, as I mentioned, but it's another thing to actually follow through with it.
So that took me a long time. So my oldest daughter is almost 8. So this all kind of started 8 years ago, and we really only launched 3 years ago. And so over that time, we had just kind of kept traveling, and I really like helping people. And so we would have so many people come up and ask, like, you know, what are you guys using? Because we would use just different toys that parents would walk by and see on flights and stuff like that. And so eventually, I remember there was one day I was with a friend at the San Diego safari park, and I was like, I really think I want to do this. Like, I think I want to like put myself out there a little bit more and like help more people. Because we were talking about a flight with her kids coming up. And so it was kind of one of those things where like, there's so many reasons to like talk yourself out of it. And it's so hard to actually commit to something, especially when at the time I had 3 kids and it was like, this is insane. Like I have my plate full already. But I just decided to go for it and we would try it. I had bad timing. I had really bad timing. We decided to launch in February of 2020, which was literally
right before the pandemic
timing.
Yeah.
And so we kind of ended up delaying a little bit and ended up launching like later that year as travel sort of started to open up a little bit more. And it just kind of grew from there. We sourced a lot of toys from, there's a lot made in the US, but there's a lot that we've found on like our different travels and stuff. Like we have some that are made in Sweden, I think. There's some in Germany. My husband had just gone to Japan and had found a couple other toys that we're going to launch soon as well. So we just kind of sourced stuff from all over, from our travels that we really loved. And I just kind of went for it. I did it all myself. My background was in advertising and graphic design, and so I built the website myself and just took the photos. I think on my Instagram, there's some older posts, and you can see it's literally just like a roll of IKEA paper. And, you know, I'm just like piecing it together on the floor and totally thinking to myself, like, what am I doing? Like,
Yeah.
you know, but I mean, my main goal was just, I really wanted to help people. So even if it wasn't like pretty and it wasn't perfect, you know, I just decided to go for it. And yeah, it
That's
was,
awesome.
it was
What
fun.
has been in your experience? I mean, you have 4 kids, so you've definitely obviously had a lot of different experiences with your kids having different interests, different age groups, and you've flown a ton. If you had to kind of give parents, since this is like we're in the summer, people are traveling a lot, and you know, there's stress that goes along with that. And also like airports right now and flights are insane. Things are being
Yeah.
delayed, canceled, like it's a lot. If there are kind of 3 tips that you would give to parents who are traveling with children, what would they be?
Ooh, I think the biggest thing is it is 100% worth it investing in stuff that makes travel easier. Whether it's a travel kit or whether it's other stuff. Like we use these little seats that like you clip onto luggage, and so they can just sit on it and you pull them along. It's made it so much easier to get through the airport without meltdowns.
Yeah.
So it's just like literally anything, invest in something that makes your trip easier. Whatever. I always tell parents, like, what is the biggest, like, find the biggest stress point of travel for you, whether it's actually on the airplane, whether it's like packing and getting everything ready before, and find something to make that part of the trip easier. Let's see what else. I also have like lots of backup plans, you know, just in case, especially with travel right now. And it's so, lines are
Chaotic.
long, stuff's
Yeah.
getting lost. It's a mess.
Mhm.
But have a backup plan, and then basically expect that not to go according to plan. And I
Mhm.
think that was something that was really hard for me at first, was like when stuff didn't go according to plan. It was really hard to like change really quick and then not let that stress like affect the kids, because they can tell we're like looking for a hotel like for literally that night, that minute. And so we kind of at that point like divide and conquer, you know, like
Yeah.
I'll take the kids, we go play. One of my favorite things to do is we just bring an empty or a non-inflated balloon to like airports, and just we blow that up, and then they go play keepy uppy in, you know, an empty little like terminal area.
Wow.
They're super happy, it's the best. And then my husband, you know, will figure out the rest of the mess, or you know,
Yeah.
just vice versa like that. And then the other thing that I think really helps, especially if you have kids that are different ages, we like to on the trip, we actually like to have them like be involved in planning like one of the days. And so it's like something where they kind of buy into it a little bit more, because like they know that their day is coming up of what they wanted to do. And so they're kind of willing to like do other stuff that maybe is not as exciting as the like they would want to do.
Mhm.
And so like with littler kids, we'll even do this, and I'll give them like choices, you know, do you one of them was like, do you want to go zip lining, shark diving, or go on a hike? And my 2-year-old at the time chose shark diving. I was like, really? Are you sure? Yeah. And we did it. And, you know, but the rest of the time, he was doing other stuff. He was doing hikes that like I wanted to do or whatever.
Mhm.
And there was a little bit more of like teaching them how to compromise, you know, like we're doing something that you want this day, we're doing something that your sister wants this day. And so that's really helped a lot with like just making trips go a little bit smoother.
That's awesome. I think the idea of like engaging kids, even if it's to distract them from the moment in the travel day, is such a great idea. And then of course, like the travel seats, the balloon, that's all amazing. And then of course, getting one of your kits is another great thing to have kind of like in your arsenal of tips and tricks when you're traveling with children. So for your company, are you constantly redoing the kits or adding new items, refreshing the thing? Because I think for people who travel a lot, you know, and I notice this with, especially with my oldest, who's about to be 3, like I have items that are just for travel, and on the way home, she'll be like, oh, I already played with those items. So there's like, you know, it's like, how often am I keeping up with what's going to be new, what's going to be, or she's gone through the whole coloring book, or, you know, different things.
Mm-hmm.
So I think parents, you know, in the summer and then of course leading into holiday season are looking for things that are going to be exciting for kids without, of course, bringing in so much excess. Is there like a tip that you have for that, or is that something that you guys are kind of navigating right now?
Well, so we try to launch new products like twice a year. And, you know, we'll source different stuff and kind of like just refresh the kits twice a year. What you said though is so smart, because like if you have stuff that they play with all the time, they get so tired of it. And so I always tell parents, like, hide the travel kits away, like put them only for travel, or we'll use ours for church sometimes, or restaurants, just like not accessible to them all the time. And that's really helped a lot. And then there's a lot of toys in the kits that are kind of flexible with different ages. Like one of them is the pom-pom tub that you got. Like our older, like 3-year-old and 4-year-old will play with it with chopsticks. And so they'll pick it up and put the pom-poms into it. But for younger kids, like my little 1.5-year-old, he just likes to have all the pom-poms set up and he just pokes them into the hole. And so like there's different ways to like play with stuff and like stretch it depending on what toy it is. Like even with we have a couple I Spy books on the site, and like for older kids they can just do it on their own, but we'll even use it as like a game with our 2-year-old, and you know he'll find something on the page, or he'll find a color and we have to guess what it is. And so I think there's a lot of ways that you can get creative with like repurposing different toys and stuff. And then, yeah, I mean, iPads are great. Like it's definitely something that is super helpful and super useful. And we do use them, but I've just noticed my kids get so grouchy after watching an iPad for like however many hours the flight is. And so we end up doing, you know, where we'll like do a little bit of iPad time and then we'll switch it off with the travel kits, and just having that like change has made such a difference.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. And I am so excited to have my kids try out the kits that I just got yesterday, and they're so clever and so well done. And I think they will help so many people and parents in their travel journeys, and even just like at church or at restaurants, or, you know, in hotel rooms, wherever you guys might find yourself with a need to keep your children occupied and not wanting to just result in any electronics. It's such a great concept. And I'm so grateful you started the company, and grateful you took the time today to talk to us about it and just explain the background. So thank you so much.
Thank you for inviting me. It's been great. It's, you know, traveling with kids is not fun. It's just parenting in a different location. But the thing is, it's like, they're going to have meltdowns at home.
Yeah.
And I'd rather have them have a meltdown while we're on a pretty beach.
Yeah.
And so we just kind of go for it.
Yeah.
But, you know, I am always grateful for the word of mouth about travel kits. And, you know, it's been fun to see it help other parents and, you know, help them get out there too.
That's so great. Well, thank you so much, and happy traveling.
Thank you. You too. Enjoy your travel kits.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.